How you doing, y'all? Welcome to Confidence. I'll be honest, over the last week or so, have definitely been really uncomfortable. But to be honest, it's been truly amazing. And amazing in the way that I reflect on the experience, not in the experience. The experience itself is difficult. So let's just start off with the feelings that I'm having around the relationship, and then I have a crazy update for you guys with the girl in California. So this last week has been hard. Obviously, I went through the breakup last week. I made the decision that the relationship wasn't exactly what I wanted, and I decided to end it. A lot of things have been going through my mind. The more I sit here in Arizona, it's like I said, it's been uncomfortable. I have already thought about moving to California this past week. It's crazy. I know I planted that seed last week, but I sent out some feelers for a potential 2-3 month rental, and I might just go send it out there for a few months and just kind of see how it feels. Just do something different. Just get super fucking uncomfortable. Because that's what I've realized about myself and my life right now is that I'm going through a very transitional period in my life. I think this is what happened prior to the solo trip was I started to feel really uncomfortable in the comfort that I've created for myself. I've been living in Arizona for 10 years. Yo, the truth is, I'm over fucking Old Town. I know Arizona. I know the spots. I've been to so many coffee shops in the area. Yes, there's certain things that I could still explore and there's always more. But it just feels like I've hit my ceiling. And I was feeling that heavy. I was feeling that in this relationship. And I think it's the reason that it pushed me. I got so uncomfortable to the point where it's I got to do something fucking different. And I just took the solo trip and I left. And so many things happened, right? If you go listen to Loud Podcast, I don't need to repeat all of it. But, I went out there. I had a really good time. I got so uncomfortable. I ended up meeting somebody else, thought that she was the shit. And I came back to my life here and everything changed. My perspective changed on my life. So now it was this week has been all about thrusting myself into myself. That sounds weird. It sounds weird. Weird visualization. But it's true. It's the truth is I made the commitment to myself to just own the shit that I want, own the type of relationship that I want. There was a moment before I left for that solo trip. I remember because I fucking was going in to ChatGPT about this where I was just I'm going to be dead fucking real. And I'm going to be vulnerable as fuck with you guys right now too. I was feeling so uncomfortable in my routine, in the things that I was doing, in my relationship. And this is I guess a short snippet of what I was journaling out loud, which was I am ready to settle down. I do really want to find my person. That's important to me. And it's funny when I say that out loud because I've chosen to be single. I've chosen to let go of the person that I was with. But I think what was happening is I realized the type of energy I want. I realized that what I want inside, I couldn't deny anymore. When I was journaling to my phone about this, I was talking about how you know what I really want? I just want a life where I have a cool community of people. I have good friendships of people that are hustlers, that are really developing themselves, that are really taking care of themselves, that care about me, that are genuine. And I feel I haven't had that here. I have a couple friends, but it's not to the quality of the relationships that I want, truly. And on top of that too, I think part of the reason that I was feeling so anxious in the first place was probably because I realized that about my romantic relationship as well. And that's what's really hard to reflect on is this person that I was with was not a bad person by any means. Like, truly, like, she showed up for me. She was very kind, all those things. We had a great friendship. But there was something inside of me that was telling me that it just wasn't it. And you know what's funny is my coach asked me a question this week about why I had gone back in the first place. And I sat with it, and you guys know how I get my answers, right? I sit with a question that's very powerful, and I get into my body, and I just feel. And you know what's funny is I sat there, I closed my eyes, I was breathing deeply, and I said, yes, what is it that calls me to that relationship? What was it that was bringing me back there? Or even right now, like this past week, right? Like I still have those little feelings, right? Of like, you know, what if? Did I make the right choice? All those things. When I sat with it, the feeling that I got in my body was like, I'm telling you, one word came, I swear, like one word just came to my brain, and it was safety. Safety. I sat there and I was looking at the word, and I was like, damn, like that really is true. It's crazy because a lot of the decisions that I've been making over the last 3-4 months was not based on Chris in his most confident state. A lot of it has been, and to be honest, if I'm being real, like the relationship that I'm in, the place that I'm in, the habits that I have, the rigidness that I've created for myself, the comfort. That's exactly what it was. It was about comfort. It was about safety. It was about having this scarcity mindset that what I want may not be out there. And that's what I realized for a lot of the people that I work with, everybody that I coach, genuinely. We all have a fear that what we want may not really be out there. We all have a fear that the things that we know genuinely we care about, we might not be enough for, or we may not deserve. And trust me, I work with a lot of coachees and people. I swear I had a call today where the girls tell me like, oh, I look in the mirror and I feel good about my body. I feel good about my friendships. Like I'm doing good. Like, you know, I have so many plans, this, that, and the other thing. But I still don't feel this genuine sense of happiness inside. Because the truth is, a lot of people on the surface, you might think that your life feels or looks like it should be, like you should be happy. But the truth is there's something that you're yearning for that you're not receiving. But a lot of the times it's because there's underlying beliefs there that are preventing you from really feeling like you fucking deserve. And that's what I've realized about this situation. And for many people's situation, again, it's the fear of not receiving what it is that you want. So what do? You cling on to comfort. You cling on to the thing that is the current piece of safety, to be honest, right? In reality, I think I knew deep down that this person was great, but it wasn't exactly what I wanted. And because it was safe and because it was easy, I couldn't make that choice for myself. But eventually what happens? You sit there, you ruminate, you wonder why you're feeling anxious. You wonder why you feel that your life is not going in the directions that you want. You wonder why you're not feeling creative. You wonder why you're not, making progress. And you know the feeling, right? That feeling of like, why am I not feeling good? Why am I not moving forward? And a lot of the times is you got to look around and ask yourself, what am I doing to cling on to safety? What am I doing to cling on to things where I don't have to take a real risk and I don't have to get myself uncomfortable? And that's why I said the solo trip was very eye-opening for me because I did something that was uncomfortable. It opened my eyes that maybe I do want something different than what I'm doing right now. It opened my eyes that, this person that I was with was, not my person. And it sucks because, I do want that. And that's really hard. And also, how do you communicate that to somebody? That part was hard too, because I don't want to disappoint people and I feel so responsible for how she feels when you have somebody showing up for you, it's very hard to turn around and tell that person that you don't want that. Because also it's like, I know that her fear is that she probably feels like she's not enough. I don't want to make her feel like that. But what I've realized is like, that's not my responsibility. That's not my work. My work is to be honest for myself. And sometimes that's what happens is like, we know what it is that we want. Somebody in our life is showing up in a way that is not exactly what it is that we want. Maybe it could be somebody that's not treating you well and you want a relationship, or the opposite, which is like they want a relationship with you, but you know you don't want a relationship with them. But it's very difficult to get yourself out of that situation because it's safe. Like I said, it's not everything that you want, but at least it's part of it. But I really feel like a lot of those relationships have an expiration date. And it's funny because when I talk to my clients and people as well too, it's like, y'all know the truth too. Y'all know that sometimes like these relationships that you're in, you know, like if I ask you deep down, what do you want? What do you want in a partner? What do you want for your life? And for a lot of people, I feel like it goes down two avenues for that. And I guess I'll speak for myself because this is what I was talking about into chat when I was journaling, was like, if I'm being really honest with myself, I do want a girl that's going to push me. I do want a girl that's going to inspire me. I want somebody that I am deeply attracted to, deeply. I want that. I deserve that. I want a girl that I can like wake up and we go to the gym together and, you know, she loves to journal and meditate and develop herself, and she checks me and she holds me accountable. And when I look at her, like, I want to ferociously like take it down, you know, like true. I want that. And that's what I'm saying. I had to be so fucking honest with myself. And the same thing, like I even for my own career, it's like, I know I want to be an internet personality, and not just for the attention. Like, I think my true calling in life is like, I just want to spread good vibes. I want to spread good energy. I want to spread good information. That's what I'm called to do. And what I found is that like when I was in a relationship that wasn't supportive of that goal, I was going in the wrong direction. I was sitting on the bench. I was sitting on the sidelines. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time to recognize that. So I don't hold guilt over myself and I accept that. But like I said, you know, that whole combination is very difficult, right? It's like, you know, you want something more, but you have somebody in your life that's giving you a lot. Sometimes you don't know if it's your own insecurities that are preventing you from making those choices. But what I realized too is like, to be honest, it wasn't my avoidance. Like I learned a lot about my own avoidance in the relationship itself. But what I realized is that for most people, it's not about the insecure attachment sometimes. It's about the fear that you're not going to receive what you want. And that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, you know, you could be in the relationship that you're in right now. And I'm not saying it's a bad one, right? I don't know what relationship you're in, whatever it is. But I do find that a lot of people are in relationships that are not supportive of what it is that they genuinely want. Like you got to ask yourself that. Start with that question. Seriously, I did it with my coachee today. I was like, tell me what you want. What do you want? She turns around and she's like, I want a healthy, secure commitment. I do want that. She's like, I've been single for 4 years. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. But what's her relationship look like? What's the guy that we're working with her? What's happening? She's with a guy that she knows doesn't give a damn about her, and she knows it. And what's crazy is she's accepted it. She's accepted the fact that he has and will not show up for her. So what is she doing by sitting there, accepting his bullshit crumbs, taking the bare minimum? Is she getting anywhere close to her goal? No. If you were a person that truly felt like you deserved a secure, healthy relationship, I asked her this question. If that was you, what actions would you take? What do you think she turned around and told me? I cut him off. I'd accept the fact that he can't give me what I need. That is true self-worth. That is true self-love. Is knowing what it is that you want and not deviating away from that. And it's very hard because most of us, we grow up in situations where we have been told that we are not good enough, and not directly, subconsciously, right? If you grew up in a household where your parents were emotionally absent, or they were super controlling, or they were super distant, did you learn to trust yourself? Did you learn to say, hey, who I am, what I feel, it is enough. What I want is possible. Most of us have been told that it's not. Most of us have been shown that, no, what we are, who we are, what we want may not be enough. Because to be honest, that's most of the world. That's the truth. Most of the world is guided by fear. And again, it's so easy to slip into that. Think about me specifically. I like to think I'm a great example of this. Right? I fucking read. I have a coach. I'm about to sign another coach. I'm about to have 2 coaches. I'm a self-development slut. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in it. Like, I've read every fucking goddamn self-development book there is. And I still battle with not believing that I deserve. I still battle believing that I'm not enough. I still battle that fear that I might not receive what it is that I want. Because that's really what it comes down to. When you go to my coachee, the only reason she's stuck there is because she knows it and I know it. Is the truth is she knows the answers. She just doesn't fucking believe she deserves it. Because your relationship, it tells you everything you need to know about the way that you truly believe about yourself underneath, right? I mean, again, think about my relationship. If I stayed in that relationship, all I was telling myself in that relationship was, I don't feel like I'm going to receive the one that I want. That's what I'm telling myself. Seriously. And it's crazy because you want to know if you ever said, oh, I'm having anxiety. I feel anxiety in my relationship. It's not the other person. Now, it is the other person in a sense because they're the object of your work. But the reality is you create your own anxiety, right? For me, the reason that I was feeling these ways to even go on a solo trip to begin with, for me to even sit here and not feel creative and feel so down about myself and overthink all day, it had nothing to do with the other person. It had everything to do with me not choosing myself. The only reason you were feeling that fear and that anxiety is because you are not going directly towards your goal. You're not. Because if you were going directly towards your goal, how good does that feel? You want to hear something fucking crazy? So on today's call, I'm telling you, I'm working with this woman, right? She's not a girl. She's a woman. And, you know, I'm telling her all this and we're talking about all this out loud and she's starting to see it. And that was the question. You want to know what's funny? Is that she had gone back again, and this is like time number 7, like maybe even like 57. And he just like flat out fucking disrespected my client, straight up. Saw her out in public, looked at her, he was by himself, paid his tab, walked out without saying hi after they had slept with each other a few days ago. My client is sitting there telling me like, I can't do this anymore. Why am I sitting here doing this? And you know what it is? What is it? It's clinging on to hope. She is clinging on to this semblance of hope that he is going to be the person that finally gives her the secure relationship. What does she want? She wants the secure, healthy relationship. So you know what the decision that was really hard for her to make? She still has him on Snapchat. And we're sitting there and I'm like, what is holding you back from removing him and blocking him? And I didn't say block, just even removing him. You don't need to block. I don't think you need to block people. You could if you need to protect your peace, but I think removing somebody is all you need. Because what's the truth about her situation? What is us moving in the direction that we need to go in order to get what we want. Again, she gets overwhelmed when she thinks about the whole thing. It's baby steps. And the baby step that was presented to her in this moment was, if you're actually going to accept moving on from somebody and getting over somebody, you got to remove the hope. And honestly, what that looks like is sometimes you got to remove them off social media. You can't be looking at their shit. And again, this is why she feels so much anxiety every day. She's like, I think about him 24/7. I have all this anxiety. Why? You're clinging on to just being friends on social media. And that's what I was telling her, is that you can finally take this step to building self-security. You could finally take this step to receiving the type of relationship that you want. But the first step is you got to remove the person that isn't that from your life. And something so small as removing him off Snapchat, you know how hard that was for her? You know how difficult that was? She's looking at that button, probably thinking to herself, how the fuck do I do this? Because it's not easy. And I understand that even in my own relationship. You know what I'm saying? It's not, like I said, it's not easy to make those decisions for yourself. But by the end of the call today, she removed him. It was crazy. You know how excited I was internally? I literally got off that phone call and I literally just fucking got up and I said, yes. I said fucking yes. I fucking pumped my fucking fist. I was like, no fucking way she did it. You don't understand. This girl has been so down bad for months. And she finally took a step. And you know what she said? As soon as she did it, it was so hard for her to do it. She was like, wow, that felt good. Your body fucking knows. Your body knows. Right? For me, right? We just talked about, what are the things that I want? I want to be this internet personality. I want this beautiful relationship, right? Like I said, all the things that I want. When I take the risky action of what? Posting a video that shows my true personality, my true vulnerability that isn't forced. You know how hard it is for me to hit that post button? It's fucking hard because I care. And the things that we care and that we want the most in life present the most amount of fear. That's why it's so hard for people to receive the things that they want, is actually because they want it so bad. Because like I said, when you want something so bad, that is the thing that's going to fucking scare you the most. But what happens? If I'm going to get to my goal, what do I need to do? It's a series of small, risky actions. Her deleting this guy off of Snapchat. Is she fully now healed? No. But is she taking a step in that direction? Yes. Did that action feel good? Yes. For me, when I post that video, right? And it's risky because I'm like, fuck, it's hard for me to do when I post it. What happens? That feels good. That feels good. So take it back to my relationship in this week, right? Yeah, the reality is like, I am uncomfortable, right? Because again, the decisions themselves are uncomfortable, right? Me breaking up with her or telling her how I truly feel is uncomfortable. Me being on my own is fucking uncomfortable, especially when I'm seeing somebody 4 or 5 nights a week. I got nobody in my phone. I'm waking up to nothing. Seriously, I'm dead ass. I'm not fucking sitting here also filling that gap with external validation. I know better. I'm not coping. That's another thing we could talk about in a second. But to be honest, you know how much more peace I've felt over the last 4 or 5 days? So much more. Like I said, is it still uncomfortable as a motherfuck? Yeah, it is. But those decisions that you make for yourself that are based on what it is that you want, that you know deep down, those are the things that are going to feel good. Your body is telling you. Like I said, and if you're having anxiety, I could fucking guarantee that what you are doing is you are making choices for yourself that are in opposition of your goal, of your true underlying desire. You're not being fully vulnerable with yourself or with your partners. And again, it's scary, right? Because what is the safer option? The safer option is sometimes to stay. The safer option is sometimes not to post a video. The safer option is to sit on the sidelines and not put yourself out there and not do the things that you know you fucking want to do. But at the same time too, here's the part that's difficult. The part that's difficult is getting used to and moving through that discomfort in a place that is so uncertain, right? When you're in that transition period, the problem is you don't see what it looks like. It's allowing yourself to get into that place where you're in between. So for my coachee now, right? She removes this guy off Snapchat. What happens? She's in open water. She doesn't know where the next guy's coming from. She knows she wants a safe, secure relationship. She doesn't have somebody in her life right now that is that. That's the truth. But that is the work. That is where self-trust is truly built. And that's what I'm realizing for myself. As I keep going every single day and I don't allow myself to cope with external validation sources, I feel myself getting stronger. I feel myself getting more comfortable. I feel myself getting more confident. I'm telling you, it's that really beginning period that is so fucking hard. I'm telling you, you want to know what my week has looked like this week? I made a list, and this is something that you could do is very powerful as well, is I looked at all my habits on a day-to-day basis. I just wrote everything down. I literally did. I said, okay, what do I do in a day? I said, I wake up, I make the bed, I take a shower, I get ready. Maybe I'll scroll. I was like, I'll make breakfast. I do the gym at some point. I journal, I read, I make videos, I phone a friend. Maybe I go play some intramural sports. I do something else. I make dinner, I meal prep, I food shop. What are some other things in that list? You know what was on that list? I smoke weed. I've been, before when I was in this relationship, we were playing a lot of video games at night, sitting there, just not utilizing that time. And then also too, I have an addiction to fantasy baseball, which is really strange. You guys don't know that about me, but I really like baseball. I like fantasy sports. So I'll read a lot of articles and I'll do a lot of shit. And I looked at that list of habits and I asked myself, and this is funny because again, would I be doing this if I was in the relationship that I was in? Honestly, probably not. Because guess what? I'm throwing myself back into the fire. When you are on your own, purely on your own, it forces you to look at what do you actually like and how are you utilizing your time? Like I said, this is all part of the discomfort of building that inner strength, that true self-love, is you got to discover who you are beyond a relationship. And like I said, I've been a little bit lost in the sauce in this relationship. Also part of the solo trip. So again, huge move, right? Got myself uncomfortable, got myself alone, but now I'm purely alone, right? But anyways, I'm looking at this list and I asked myself, which of these habits am I utilizing in a way to cope with my negative emotions? First ones came out of the list. I said smoking weed, playing video games, scrolling my phone, and excessively looking at fantasy. Do you know what I told myself? I said, all right, well, I got to limit those things. Unplug the Xbox. I'm like, all right, what happens? I'm pushing myself into uncomfortable situations. I know it sounds so small. But again, these are the things that you can do to get yourself uncomfortable, and you got to sit in that discomfort, and this is where the true growth happens. This is where the change happens. So what happens? You know what my week has looked like? Swear to God. I do my things that fill up my cup. I've been journaling a little bit more. I've been focusing a little bit more on my video creation. I'm still feeling uncomfortable as fuck. I still have that tremendous amount of fear in that area, but I'm working on it. I'm really allowing myself to sit with it and sit in that discomfort, because eventually, you know what happens when you sit in that discomfort for long enough? You figure it out. That's what's crazy. That's what we don't realize. And that's what I'm telling you about comfortable relationships and making these decisions and doing these things, is that eventually you will figure it out. Eventually you will start doing the things that you want. Eventually what's crazy is I will get to my goal. I will find that girl. I will become the internet personality, but I got to choose it. I got to thrust myself into the deep end and say, fuck it, Chris, sink or swim. This is it. And it's like I said, it's on the micro level too. And that's what we're talking about these decisions. So what ends up happening with my time? I now don't have a girl. I told myself that I'm going to limit the video games and the weed and, the scrolling. What does that leave me with? A whole bunch of question marks. And so this week, you know what it's looked like? I've been reading a lot more. That has felt, and honestly, it's crazy because then I feel good. I've been sitting with myself a lot more. Hasn't been easy. I'm going to be honest with y'all. A decent amount of fear, a lot of fear. A lot of journaling. I get home at night after a long day working, trying to post videos, still trying to get back into my creativity. It's not easy, right? There's a transition period. And I swear to God, I meditate for an hour. I'll go in my shower, turn the shower on, take a shower. Bro, I laid down in my shower 2 nights this week. Flat back, swear to God, flat back, water hitting me, butt ass naked. You know what I'm saying? Like back against the fucking stone concrete of my bathroom floor. Meditation. Sitting with myself, sitting with my feelings. And here's the thing, I'm not even here to tell you that it's some revolutionary shit. It's not. But what I've realized is like, I'm getting to bed earlier. I'm reading more. I'm feeling a little bit more focused for the things that really matter for me, which is like, I know I want to be this internet personality. I got to go after it. I got to take those risks. And that's what I'm trying to say is you throw yourself into the deep end and you force yourself to be a little uncomfortable and you make these choices for yourself. This is how you grow. This is how you change. And I know for a fact that I don't need to do anything besides satisfy myself. Do these things for myself. Recognize, this is the big one. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to help you receive those goals. The only person that is going to help you receive what it is that you want is yourself. And that's the thing too. It's like, I thought that this girl that I met in California, remember I said, oh my God, the vibe is crazy. She's so cool. That is based on a story and a fantasy that she was going to save me. That's based on a story and a fantasy that my life is just automatically going to be better just because she's there. And again, I didn't know anything about her. Although we did have a good vibe and it was good energy, and I felt energetically that it was definitely more aligned than what it was that I was doing. And again, that part was awesome because I got a taste. I got a taste of what it is that I potentially want. Even though, again, I didn't know for a fact. So, you want to hear something crazy? So obviously on the last podcast, I was talking about how I had, talked to her when I got back. She was kind of distant and she was a little cold. Like I hit her up and I was like, hey, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I think I just said, I was like, hey, like, I'm so grateful to have met you. I haven't connected with somebody like that in a really long time. And yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. And then she kind of hit me with like it was nice. Like, I wish you the best. She said, I wish you the best till we meet again. I was like, damn, okay. It's like that. All right. And then I even doubled down and I was like, oh, you breaking up with me? I said something like that, just like sarcastic. And she kind of hit me with like, no, I was just saying, wish you the best. And I was like, well, I wish you were here so I can get to know you better. She hit me with some other text like, oh, this place was a vibe or something. She kind of like ignored it. And then I sent something else and then she never answered me. She ghosted me. And maybe she didn't ghost me because I only sent a sentence. So I didn't really send anything that was like that riveting. You know what I mean? But you know what's crazy is like, again, remember I told you guys I had to sit with the discomfort. she's not coming to save me. I'm not here to chase. I need to surrender my feelings towards that. And what happened, right? Because that's the thing too. I essentially surrendered everything. I pretty much said the relationship that I'm in is not supportive of what I want. This new girl, the way that she's showing up is not supportive of what I want. Chris, you got to go into yourself and make it happen, bro. Like, no more sitting in this comfort because I'm killing myself slowly. So you know what I'm saying? Like, I put the boots on and like I said, my week has looked at the way it has. You want to know something crazy? I wake up this morning and I get a text randomly. The girl from California, you know what she hits me up and says is a week later. Hey, hope you're doing good. Miss you. Come on now. Come on now. Avoidant as fuck. It really is, right? You didn't show me any vulnerability when I was being vulnerable. And now a week goes by. Energetically, I let it go because I'm like, all right, cool. I accepted it, right? And yeah, I don't know. Now I have a decision to make on how I want to respond to that. Here's the thing. Like, it's not that I'm going to sit here and ignore her, right? Because we're not, and here's what you need to realize. And all my coachees know this. It's not about playing games. And me, true avoidance or somebody like that might feel disrespected by that, but there's no disrespect. I don't know what the truth of the situation was, right? Maybe you were afraid. I don't really know. But my whole thing is, it's not about trying to control her or control the outcome, because that's what everybody does in relationships. And this is what we're trying to avoid in general, right? Think about the reason that my coachee is trying to keep this guy on Snapchat, even though he said pretty much like, dismissed, deuces, I don't care about you. Because what we try to do is control the outcome. Oh, if we can get them to like us, if we could just get their validation, then I'll feel better, right? And again, most people, I think in this scenario where like this girl was being a little dismissive, they might double down and be like, hey, where'd you go? What's going on? I told you all last week about not doubling down. And yo, isn't it crazy that if you go listen to fucking podcast last week, I literally told you guys, don't double down, be secure, trust yourself, let go, accept. And what the fuck happened? I stayed in my worthiness. I chose myself. I said, I'm not putting up with that energy. I'm not going to double down. You want to go away and you don't want to say something? That's on you. Okay, own it. Now I have to sit here after the fact and sit with that and say, okay, how do I want to respond to this? It's funny, my coachee, I told her about it today. She's like, are you excited? Like, are you happy about that? And I was like, to be honest, yes and no. Because like part of me, like, yeah, of course, like maybe it feels good to get energy from that person. But the other part of me is like, yeah, it's kind of lame that, you, I don't know, couldn't be vulnerable with me at that point. Now, here's the thing. I understand, right? Like that's the thing too. You also got to bake in the fact that people aren't perfect. I don't know what her situation was. We had just spent a lot of time. It was very heavy. It was very intense, very quickly. And maybe she needed some time to breathe and to recognize that I wasn't going to be up her ass. Even though I was excited about the connection, yeah, I'm not going to chase that. And this is the point of good boundaries too, right? And this is why I told you on the last podcast is like, this is why it's so important to be in that firmness. Because sometimes people change their tune. When they realize that you're not willing to back down and that you're strong in your sense of self and what you want, sometimes people gain respect for you. And again, this isn't to say that this means that me and this girl are going to do anything or it's going to, like, that's what I'm trying to say is like, for me, it's like, I recognize that just because she sent this one text doesn't mean that she's 100% in, that she's really changed, that she's really different, that she really cares. It's just a moment. And I guess that's the way I probably will respond is, yeah, like, hey, I appreciate you sending that. And yeah, I hope you're doing well too. I don't need to sit here and chase. I don't need to sit here and control. The truth is that if you want to show me energy and you want to show up, you will. And I'm not going to back down. I'm not going to run away and ghost. I don't play games. And that's the thing. I'm not trying to strategize how to get her to like me. What I'm trying to do is be honest and vulnerable as fuck with her. And my true vulnerability in this situation says, what, right? What am I feeling? Hey, you know what? This does feel good, but yeah, at the same time, I need to see a little bit more before I really believe that you miss me. And so if I know that as my truth, how do I communicate that without trying to control the situation? I do that by just being honest about that feeling, but in a text. Like, hey, I'm doing good. I feel good. Hope you're doing well. And I appreciate you reaching out. That's me being honest, right? I appreciate you reaching out. That felt good. But also, yeah, I'm not going to sit here and be like, I miss you too. Sorry. No, I'm not going to say that because I don't feel that way. And if she wants to show up, she will. And if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And that's the energy that I want you guys to have as well in your relationships. And what's funny is, like, let's go back to my coachee with the Snapchat thing for a second. Like, she thinks in her head, oh, well, if I remove this person off of fucking Snapchat, then that means it's really over and I'll never hear from them ever again. I'll never see them ever again. That's not true. That's you protecting your peace in this moment. That's you choosing yourself. And look how I chose myself. I surrendered to the situation. I chose myself. And what happened? You know what's funny? I don't have her on Instagram. I don't have her on shit. The only thing that we did was exchange numbers. That means that for some reason, think about her texts. I'm down there in the list, right? After the last text I sent a week ago, I'm probably far down there. That means she had to think about me without seeing me on social media. And y'all think just because you remove somebody or you protect your peace that they're just going to forget about you? It's not true. Because if they genuinely care about you, it's all about energy. When you are firm in yourself and you trust yourself and you make decisions that show that you love yourself, people can feel it. As I said, I told my coachee, it's not never. Because what ends up happening is this. I said, what happens if you remove him and then 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later, he hits you in a text? You know? Because again, you think it's the end of the world, but what you got to do is choose what is right for you in the moment. Stop getting far ahead of yourself, because what is she doing? By not deleting him, she is strategizing on how she can keep some sort of attention and energy to potentially get him back. But what's crazy is the real way to quote unquote get him back is to genuinely release him and stand up for yourself and stick up for yourself and not put up with bullshit. It doesn't mean you're fucking running away because you're removing him off Snapchat. It means you're fucking protecting your peace from having to see somebody's face, having to see somebody's name every day that you know has already showed you time and time and time again that they are not willing to give you the relationship that you want. I hope you guys are seeing the results of the work. I hope you guys are seeing how important it is to be in the moment. I hope you guys are seeing the importance of not trying to control the outcome, of not trying to control the result. Because when you are controlling the result, what you are saying is that you are looking for them to validate you and you can't do it for yourself. That's what you're showing. And then you wonder why you don't have the things that you want. Because you aren't willing to choose yourself. You keep thinking that the external is going to save you. It is never going to fucking make you fully happy. Because you're never going to feel safe in yourself if you don't choose yourself. If you don't trust yourself. And building self-trust and choosing yourself means analyzing what it is that you want in your body, deeply, vulnerably, and setting up boundaries to receive that. And not running away from people, not being afraid to disappoint people, not being scared and avoidant, not being clingy and anxious, firm. Firm in yourself, firm in the moment. Not trying to control the future is huge. It's huge. Because to me, that's the only way you're going to receive the relationship that you want. Think about this. Now for my coachee, right? What's her journey going to look like? She removes him off Snapchat. Now it's time to get uncomfortable. Yeah, you are going to be alone. Yeah. Are there going to be nights where you think about him? Hell fucking yeah. But what do you need to do? Sit in that discomfort. You know what I told her? I said, do not go on a dating app. Don't fill that void with somebody else. I want you to sit with your fucking self. Because that's what happens for a lot of the people that I work with. to be honest, y'all are you're codependent as fuck. What was I in my last relationship? It's codependency. It's, I don't feel good and trust myself on my own that I could receive what I want. So I have this person here that feels safe, right? The guy, even though he's treating her like shit, it just feels safe because it's something. Because then she doesn't actually have to be alone. And the work for her then becomes, how does she just enjoy her life as is? And you know what's crazy? Is when you start to enjoy your life as is, you cultivate those friendships, you cultivate the work that you want to do, you focus on yourself, you're really in on yourself. You for me, right? You'll be like, if I start making videos, having fun, doing my thing, that's when everything comes to you. Think about it. I got this text. Did I do anything for it? Did I work for it? Did I cling on for it? Did I strategize for it? Did I reach out? No, I didn't, right? I trusted that life was going to give me what I needed. And like I said, it may not even be that it's her, right? She might not be emotionally equipped to even be with me. And that's what I might realize at this point, right? You're being so wishy-washy. Are you even ready? Are you really ready for me? I give people a fair chance, but that's the kind of firmness that we need to have. But it only happens when you do the work to allow yourself to be single and get uncomfortable. And like I said, cut out the validation. Cut out the sources that are taking you away from feeling that discomfort. Sit in it. I got a coachee that's a guy. That's what I told him. The reason that he misses his previous relationship so bad is because he's attached to the safety that she brings him, because right now he's alone and he's floundering. He's got to figure out his money. He's got to figure out his situation. And it's scary to do that alone. But I'm like, sit in it. Sit in it. Don't run away from it. Don't smoke weed. Don't numb yourself out. Don't go on the dating apps. Don't force it. Do not force it. Don't force yourself to quote unquote feel better. Sit in it. You will eventually figure it out. Like I said, this week has been very uncomfortable for me. I'm not sitting here telling you guys I've been happy fucking days. Like, it's not the glory days around here. You know what I'm saying? It's not like happy times. Will I eventually get to that place? Yes, that is true. But do you see what I'm saying? There is a transition period between not getting what you want and releasing the thing that you know you don't want. And in that period is really fucking uncomfortable. I always give you guys the example of Christopher Columbus going across the ocean. Did he know that there was another fucking landmass over there? No. He just said, I'm getting in the boat and I'm going. You're telling me that motherfucker wasn't scared shitless, pissing himself on his boat? 100%. If he had fucking TikTok, he'd be sitting there and be like, bro, we're at sea, 30 days. I don't know what the fuck is going on. People are throwing up. I feel like ass. I don't know where we're going. People keep telling me that the earth is flat. Who fucking knows? I might fall off the side at some point. That's how it feels. But guess what happens? And I know for a fact is going to happen for all of you and for me. I will find that person. I will become an internet personality. My coachee, she will find a secure relationship. I'll make sure of it because she's going to do the uncomfortable shit that she needs to do to get it. She said that she also wants to make her own money and have her own job. That's part number 2. Well, guess what? Now you got time. Now you got time to focus on your creative pursuits. Now you got time to focus in on the shit that you've been avoiding. Most of the time, that's what I'm saying. The relationship that you're in is just an avoidance of yourself. It's an avoidance of the things that you know you want. And you're just scared to get it. You're scared to chase it. You're scared to receive it. And that's why you're doing this shit. That's why you're in the relationship that you're in. That's why you're allowing yourself to get treated like shit. Because you're fucking scared. And trust me, I am too. It's scary. But make decisions as if you know you deserve. That is your roadmap. Take those uncomfortable actions. Take the risky actions. You can fucking do it. I want to address one quick question somebody sent me. on TikTok, just because I want to address it really quick, because I thought it was really interesting. Because I clapped back at her, and because it's one thing I wanted to mention about relationships that I think gets overlooked a lot. She reached out to me, one of these people on TikTok. She DM'd me and she said, "Hey, do you give advice on fearful avoidance? Mine just discarded me." So she asked me for advice on fearful avoidance because she said that hers discarded me. You know what I said to her in a message in return? I said, "Why do you need advice on somebody else's work?" Let that sit for a second. When you're thinking about why your avoidant partner, fearful avoidant partner, left you, and you're asking for advice on fearful avoidance, you have it all backwards. It is not your job to fix these people. It is not your job to make things work. And this is what we're talking about, right? If I gave you advice on fearful avoidance because yours left you, right? What is that? What are you trying to do? It's exactly what we're talking about here. You are trying to strategize and rationalize either why that person left or having this hope on getting them back. That's the truth. This is why most girls are obsessed with learning about avoidant attachment, because they think that if they learn more about their partner's flaws, that they will somehow be able to navigate them and receive that person in return. When in reality, the true work for you is it's not about advice for avoidance. It's about advice for you realizing that you need to accept and surrender when somebody else is not emotionally ready to date you. That's the advice that you need. The help that you need has nothing to do with the other person. It has everything to do with the fact that you will not accept when somebody is not showing up for you. It's hard to surrender to that. And again, it's very easy to focus on the other person. Because again, what is happening? Oh, if this person likes me in return, again, it's the hope that we cling on, right? If they just love me, I'll finally get this secure, safe relationship that I want. No, not true. Because you have zero control of whether or not that person heals himself or not. Because you're not healed yourself. You think that you're secure because you want a relationship with an avoidant and they're not giving you one? That's not true at all. You're actually just as unhealed as they are. Because again, if you were truly healed and secure, if you recognize that somebody was avoidant, you let them go. You let them go figure it out. You wouldn't try to heal them. You wouldn't try to strategize on how you can get them back. You would be secure in knowing that you can actually receive somebody that is secure and healthy, and you would move on. And you would accept and you would surrender. So that's my 2 cents on that. Anyways, love you guys. If you ever want to work for me, if you ever want to work with me, you know where to find me. I know I can help you receive the things that you want. If you want a committed, beautiful fucking relationship and you have not received that in your life, I can guarantee you that we can work together and I can get you there. All right. I'll talk to you soon.